Good evening, one and all. My name is James Whitehouse. Welcome to round 12. This is the final round of the Century Sim Racing DTM series. We are live at Brands Hatch. We are racing around the Indy circuit this evening. All to play for still. The championship is decided, of course. Tony Draper taking the championship win last week, but still plenty to play for. Let's have a little look at the championship standings. They look like this at the moment. So Tony Draper has won the championship. Behind him on 138 points, Andy Archer and Leon Chambers are separated only by 7 points. That can go either way tonight. We have got 2 sets of points on offer tonight. Pete Harrod, unfortunately not racing this evening. He's on 119 points. Tom Illingworth, it's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Tom. Unfortunately, he's not racing either. Your next driver that is racing, James Cole, is back. He's missed a few rounds, but he's on 65 points. Let's see if he can't put a dent in Ollie Evans ahead of him. Reese Cashmore on 57. Stuart Nunnan is back. He's on 39 points. Max Chambers returns with 18. And James Stokes is on 6 points. So let's have a little look at the track. It looks like this. It is Brands Hatch, Indy. We decided to go for the short circuit. There's going to be a lot of laps tonight. The lap time is about 41 seconds thereabouts in these DTM cars. We're very excited. The racing should be excellent because there's nothing complicated about what they're doing. So with that said, let's transition over. So we go on board with, this is James Cole. Nice to have him back. Of course, in the front of his car it says I Heart Jim. It says I Heart Jim because I did that livery for him and I thought it would be a laugh. I think I was correct personally. So the event tonight is going to run as follows. Currently they are in a 5-minute practice. That practice is just there to kind of shake the dust off for the drivers, give everyone time to get into the service so they don't miss any time in qualifying. Next we will be having a 10-minute qualifying session. That will be followed by a 15-minute sprint race, then another 15-minute sprint race with a reverse grid taken from the results of race 1. Then we will have another short qualifying of 5 minutes or so. That will decide the grid for the feature race, which will be 20 minutes. They will have to do a pit stop in that time. All to play for then, all exciting, 50 points up for grabs. We don't have Tony Draper yet. I wonder where he is. I can see he's in the chat, so he must be on his way in. Right, so we'll go back to here. Tony, of course, winning the championship last week. He has driven absolutely brilliantly so far this season. Nothing's really been able to stop him. He's had the odd technical problem with his Oculus Rift and all that. But we're very glad that he's been able to push it through and win himself a nice championship. We're very pleased for him. So then, not long to wait at all, and we will be getting into qualifying. Right then, so we are getting started in qualifying then. It's 10 minutes. They all stampede out the pit lane, of course. That's what they always do. We're looking at Andy Archer now in his Brawn livery for the last time. Oh, it's mad to think that this is the last time that we're going to race these cars. We have got another series starting, of course, in a couple of weeks. We're taking a week off next week. Stuart Nunnan going off in the background. He's been off for a couple of weeks and it shows. We are taking a week off next week because firstly the season's finished, and next week myself, Tony Draper, Andy Archer and Ollie Evans will be racing as a team in the iRacing 24 Hours of Le Mans. We're looking forward to that. But then the week after that we will be heading over to iRacing and doing a Formula 3 championship. Got a load of good drivers lined up for that. I'm looking forward to that an awful lot actually. So that'll start on Sunday nights. I believe the first one will be the 28th. Let me just double check that. Yep, 28th. That's 2 Sundays from now. So right now, Andy Archer is on his first flying lap. Let's see how he gets on. Who's ahead of him? Is Tony ahead of him? Yep, there he is. His out lap was a 50.7. It's such a short lap here. This right-hander at the end of the lap is so tricky because it's off camber and it's quite slippery, and trying to find a line through there is really complicated. So here comes Tony crossing the line for his first flying lap. That is a 41.2. That is pretty competitive straight out of the box actually. Let me just have a look and see if I have the results of practice. It would appear that I do not. Okay, no bother. I think it was mid to high 40s, low 41, so already pretty close. James Cole, as you'd expect, is right up there. This is a track that he's going to know very well from his Formula Ford and touring car career. Let's see if he's got some challenge for Tony tonight. We'd love to see that, wouldn't we? So it looks like we've got all of our drivers have set a lap time already. All looking pretty decent as well. Tony breaks it to the 40.8. JC is on a 41.3, 41.5 for Andy Archer down in third. The big battle tonight really is between Andy Archer and Leon Chambers. There's only 7 points separating them, so I would say that Archer wants to. I think Archer's leading, is he? Let's quickly find out. How do I turn that off? Yes, so Andy Archer is leading by 7 points. All to play for, of course. Mega bragging rights there. Both of these guys want to prove that they're best to the rest. But we'll see. So let's go and have a little look at those two, shall we? Here's Andy Archer. 3/10 down on that last delta. 41.4, 41.5 for Leon Chambers. So there's very little between them. I think this could be very tasty tonight. That's the big sauce that we've got going. 6 and a bit minutes left of quali, of course. Man, it's so weird to think that we've been doing this for 12 weeks. How's your lockdown been? Let us know in the comments if you are tuning in. Hello, Cam. Nice to see you, mate. Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. We have a like already. There you go. That's the stuff. Alright, you are watching qualifying for the Century Sim Racing DTM series. It's round 12. We are at Brands Hatch and we are racing around the Indy circuit. That's a 41.4 for Andy, 41.1 sorry for Andy Archer to go second. That's a good lap time. Let's have a look at what Leon Chambers is doing. He's currently in the grass. That's not a great start. Very nearly being taken up by Stuart Nunnan. He's taking a minute to get back up to speed with this car. You can tell the drivers that have been here week in, week out, I must say. Ryan Mitchell in the comments says 12 weeks of watching this and participating at times to be brilliant. Hope it's been okay for you too. Yep, Ryan, thank you for tuning in, dude. It's been great having a race with us as well. It has been good. I've really enjoyed it actually. It's pretty weird. I think we're going to be opening the centre again in a few weeks' time. A few weeks' time? Maybe, yeah. I think it's a few weeks' time. So I've kind of gotten really used to this being my Saturday nights. But yeah, so I think it's going to be a bit of an adjustment coming back. So 4 minutes and 41 seconds to go. Tony Draper leads the way. Shock, imagine that. Andy Archer's put in a good lap time. He's only 3/10 adrift. James Cole's just behind him with a 41.2 and Leon Chambers with a 41.5. Let's see what he's up to. He's but jumping back to the pits. How about that? Here he comes. I want to know who that is in the polka dots. Is that James Stokes? Yes, it is. Here he is. Let's have a look at that. I really like that polka dot livery. It took me about 2 minutes to make, but I just, you know, did it for the lols. Let's have a look at Tony's coming out of the pits now. I want to be watching Leon Chambers though, because he's the one that needs to get a lap in for now, I'd say. Stuart Nunner not far behind him as well. He's had some flashes of brilliance this season, I must say. Moments of having very strong drives indeed. He's not far off the pack as it stands at the moment, which is great. That's what we want ultimately, isn't it? The racing in the last few weeks has been absolutely brilliant. I'm sad that Pete Harrod's not with us tonight, actually. He, of course, is deep in the throes of getting ready for the 24 Hours of Le Mans. I would be too if I wasn't doing this. We've actually got a practice race tomorrow. It's a 6-hour race starting at 3 o'clock, just for the four of us to kind of get used to. Like, none of us have ever done a driver swap or registered as a team or any of that kind of thing, so it's all a big venture into the unknown. And as you can imagine, the 24 Hours of Le Mans isn't really a place to be learning on the fly, I don't think. So then, 3 minutes to go. We're watching Leon Chambers coming across the line. Is he going to be starting a lap now? Yes, he is. Fully committed going through turn 1. That's great. Tell you what, let's go on board, shall we? Now this left-hander here is a bit awkward because it's kind of slippy, it's kind of off camber, and you're very easy to wash out like that. The next left-hander you can take almost flat. He braves it. Jeez, that was yeah. That's not. Do you know what? I'm going to stop riding on board with people and commentating on their laps as it's happening. That's kind of the ultimate commentator's curse that I can bestow on a driver. You've still got time. I mean, it's such a short lap that a 10-minute qualifying session is quite a lot. I think that we've been running a 2-hour practice session every Thursday night, and normally they use the full 2 hours. But I think after about 45 minutes, the guys were like, "Yeah, I've already done the better part of 50 laps, so there's not much more I'm going to get out of this." But we'll see. It's very different when you're racing, though. The stakes are raised all the time. Andy Archer taking the inside line to let him through. So it's a 41.2. That's a good lap time then. Very close, I must say, in the top 4. That's what we like to see. So Tony Draper's on a 40.8 for pole position. Leon Chambers is only about 4/10 down. He's on a 41.2. A couple of them on a 41.1. Half a tenth between James Cole and Andy Archer. There's Leon Chambers going terribly wide. He's looking for all the racetrack that he could possibly find. Let's have a look at James Cole and see what he's got. He goes quickest with a 40.837. That's very tasty. That's what we like to see. A few weeks off hasn't dulled the skills at all. So, half a minute to go then. Where's Tony Draper? Is he on a lap? It looks like he's in some traffic as well. I think there's only been one occasion. It was Monza this season when Tony wasn't on pole. That was Andy Archer that took it that day. Are we about to see only the second time in 12 rounds Tony not getting pole position? Wouldn't that be a turn up for the books? Where is he now? He's going through turn 2. So this is the lap. That doesn't seem to be counting this one. I wonder. if that means... Oh no, he's run horribly wide there as well. This isn't going to be the lap. He's in traffic as well. So it looks like Tony's not going to be starting on pole. Isn't that a turn up for the books? Yep. That's not how you score pole position, I'm afraid. I mean, I think he's had plenty this season. He is also the champion as it stands, so he can't have too many complaints. Still very close, of course, between Andy Archer and Leon Chambers. That's what we want to see as well. That's our big tasty battle for the night. They're going to want to... Andy's going to want to maintain that 7-point gap as we go through. So I think finishing races 1 and 2 ahead of Leon Chambers is going to be smart. So let's just have a look again at how the championship is looking at the moment. We're looking at that 7-point gap between Andy and Leon in 2nd and 3rd. Tony, of course, way off in the distance. James Cole's got plenty to play for as well. If he has a strong night tonight, he could theoretically jump into 5th place if he had a strong night. But we'll see. Stu Nunnan, I think that his story is told for the most part. I think Max and James Stokes, I think that they've kind of got all they're going to get out of this championship points-wise for now, in terms of the positions. So we are just waiting for the race to start. So let's have a look. I'm going to be wanting to watch Tony Draper off the line. Yeah, get ready for race 1. If you are tuning in, thank you very much. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This is round 12 of the Century Sim Racing DTM series. It's the final round, of course. We've been racing for 12 weeks now. We've laughed and we've cried. It's been emotional. I feel like I should have put together a little highlights package from the season. That would have been cool, but no. Too late. A day late and $1 short on that one, I'm afraid. We are getting ready. Oh, they're on the grid. Let's have a little look. Transition over. Here we are. So, where's that thing? So let's have a little look at... Is Tony on the grid? Why won't it let me select him? Yes, there he is. Let's see if we can't find a better camera angle than that. Yes, there you go. Can you hear honking of horns? Is everyone on the grid? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, they are. So then, we're watching that second row very intently. Andy Archer and Leon Chambers, they've, as I've said a few times already, that's where the battle is tonight, if you ask me. Excited to see what Draper's got off the line as well. James Cole has got his first pole position of the season. The lights are about to start coming on. 1 light, 2 lights, 3, 4, 5, 6 lights. Don't stare at them too hard, boys. Waiting for lights out, and we go. Great launch from Tony Draper. Look at that, immediately takes the lead. Sweeps around the outside of James Cole. That was an absolutely thunderbolt start. Who needs to qualify on pole when you can start like that, eh? Unbelievable stuff. Goes defensive on the inside straight away. James Cole not letting him get away. It looks like that's Stuart Nunnan up the inside of Andy Archer, forcing Archer a little bit wide, but he holds on to the position. Coming through now, we've got a good train of cars. That looks like... Is that Max Chambers has made up a couple of places? Leon Chambers has lost out badly there. Andy Archer managing to hold on to 3rd place. That's important for him. But Stuart Nunnan looking pretty racy off the line straight away. Is that Max Chambers having a little look at him? It is. So he might have a little bit of a run now towards turn 1. Stu takes the inside line, which is apparently the fastest line. Indeed, he holds on to 4th place. Leon Chambers now looking very interested on his brother. Every position here is going to be... Oh, it's a big lockup from Max Chambers. Leon Chambers having a look around the long way round, but doesn't make it stick. Andy Archer's got a bit of breathing room now. I think that he is absolutely made up that Stuart Nunnan has managed to get through both Max and Leon, because that gives him a lot of breathing space in the championship. There's another big lockup from Max Chambers there. Let's have a look at the front. What's the gap? It's about a second out front. Is Tony Draper with the fastest lap. That's a 41.0. James Cole does a 41.2. He's keeping Tony fairly honest for now, but the gap already starting to open up a little bit. I would say for now the battle here is Stu Nunnan holding off Max and Leon Chambers. Oh, and he loses it. That's such a shame. He was having such a good battle with him. That's heartbreaking stuff. So then Max Chambers is up to 4th position. He's being chased down by Leon Chambers, who badly needs a good result in this race. Andy Archer's keeping it fairly tidy. He's about a second up on Max, but 2.5 seconds down on James Cole. So this race has pretty quickly established itself and set its tone. That's the fastest lap of the race with a 40.9 for Tony. He's still being chased down by James Cole as well. There he is in the Scarlet Machine. There's Andy Archer. There he is. The gap between him and Max Chambers staying steady at about a second. This is all he's got to do if he wants to hang on to second place in the championship. Also a pole sitter this season, of course. He's also won races on merit as well. He was absolutely spot on in race 1 in Monza. Won pole position, won the race. Jobs are good. He's currently chasing down James Cole. It's a 40.8 for Tony Draper. That's his 3rd fastest lap in a row. 12 minutes to go still in this race 1 of round 12 of the Citroën Sim Racing DTM series. So the field's spreading out pretty neatly as it stands. We're watching Andrew Archer. He's being chased by Max Chambers. The gap is just over a second, and then about just over a second behind him. Stu Nunnan is about 3 and a bit seconds down because he had a little moment coming through turn 2. Unfortunately, that was a shame. So the 41.0 for Tony. 41.2 for James Cole. So Tony's getting away, not by loads every lap, but there's going to be quite a lot of laps in this race, so a couple of tenths a lap is going to be quite a significant gap coming in, I would guess. New fastest lap of the race then for Tony Draper. That's a 40.727. Would that have been good enough for pole? I can't remember now. It doesn't matter. I mean, what a start from Tony. Absolutely shot off the line. The gap now down to James Cole is about 2.9 seconds. Andy Archer's falling back as well with a 3.4. Tell you what we're looking forward to now, ladies and gentlemen, is the reverse grid race 2. That should be very tasty indeed. Gap. So let's have a look at Leon Chambers. He's busy chasing down his brother Max. All important positions here for Leon. He's very badly going to be wanting to get through here. Such an awkward corner, that Paddock Hill bend, because it's like the massive elevation change, slightly off camber, I think, and you turn in, not quite being able to see the apex, let alone the exit. The fastest lap of the race again for Tony Draper with a 40.7. He's doing what he's done all season. He's just smashing out fastest lap after fastest lap. The gap now is now 4 seconds back to James Cole. This is the battle that we're on board with, though. It's Leon Chambers. He's pulling up to the back of his brother. The gap now about half a second or so. He's going to want to get through this pretty quickly and then get after Andy Archer if he can. The gap ahead of Max Chambers is about 3.5 seconds. So yes, all to play for still. Still plenty of time left, 8.5 minutes to go. And see how he's getting on. Running a fairly lonely race down in 6th at the moment. Let's have a look at James Stokes as well. We join him just as we see some tyre smoke. He's heading down towards the finish line as it stands. It looks like he's been lapped as well by Tony. He's got James Cole coming up behind him fairly steadily. Just looking at the times there, Leon Chambers seems to have lost a little bit of time to his brother. But he's still on his tail. He's going to be very much wanting to get through him. 7 and a bit minutes left. Man, we are halfway through this race already. How quickly has that gone? How quickly has this whole season gone? Thank you for joining us. If you have just joined us, thank you for tuning in. You are watching round 12. This is the final round of the Century Sim Racing DTM series. If you haven't already, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the bell notification. We will let you know when we're streaming. We are planning to stream our efforts at the 24 Hours of Le Mans next week. So tune in for that. That should be good fun. Especially, the sort of 4 in the morning stuff when everyone's sort of driving through the night with one eye open. I'm doing a lot of the overnight stuff, so I'm really looking forward to it actually. Lots and lots of preparations gone into it, so we're pretty excited, I think. But yes, back to right now. We are on board with Leon Chambers as it stands. He's a title protagonist. He's hunting down second in the championship, but Andy Archer seems to have it fairly under control for now. That looks like sorry about that at home. That looks like my internet had a little bit of a moment, but that gave me some panic just then. The gap now down to about half a second. This is Leon pulling right up to his brother. They've got some traffic coming up as well, which should be interesting. We'll see how this plays out. It's James Stokes just in front of him. Here he is. We'll look back at Leon Chambers because I think this could be very tasty. Traffic is always awkward, no matter what. But he goes straight on to let them through. That was very kind of him. That was very kind of him indeed. But Leon is right on the back. Is he going to take a little look up into Graham Hill? No, not quite. Is that Graham Hill? No, I don't think it is. I can't remember. I think this is Graham Hill that they're coming up to now. I must admit, I have never been a massive fan of this track. Which I think loosely is why it wasn't on the original calendar, but yeah, we put it to a vote. Everyone voted, and this is a track that got some votes, so we're very happy. And that Max Chambers has a massive moment going through the last corner that lets his brother sneak up alongside him. That is Leon. He has definitely got the line there, and all he's got to do now is hang on to it through turn 1. But Max does still have a good drive. Is he going to let it go? He runs a little bit wide. Ooh, that was close, but yes. Leon takes the place, and now all he's got to do is get after Andy Archer. The gap, 4.5 seconds. The time left on the clock, 5 minutes. That's going to probably be the better part of 7 or 8 laps. So if he's quick, he might get there. But of course, catching is one thing, overtaking is another. Is that Max having another massive moment behind him? He's giving that a good go at giving it the big old drift. A valiant effort from the young man. Let's have a look at James Cole, see how he's getting on. There he is. He's going through turn 2 now. He's about 6.5 seconds off the lead, about 6.5 seconds ahead of Andy Archer. He's running a pretty lonely race, but super under control. Keeping it nice and simple. At the end of the day, that's all you can do. Did well to get pole position, I must say. But geez, what a start from Tony Draper. So Stuart Nunnan goes into the pits. Let's see what that looks like. I wonder what he's doing in there. Not moving by the looks of things. So we'll head back and have a look at Mr. Andy Archer. being chased by Leon Chambers. There he is in the background. We're going to monitor that gap very closely. The gap now 4.1 seconds. 41.6 for Leon Chambers, 43.0 for Max Chambers. .0 seconds for Leon Chambers, 4.1 seconds for Leon Chambers. 3 minutes to go. This is race 1 of round 12 of the Century Sim Racing DTM series. It is the final round, of course. The championship has been wrapped up. Tony Draper has won that, but second place still very much up for grabs. We are watching Andy Archer, who's in the prime position for that, because not only is he 7 points ahead of Leon Chambers, he's also ahead on the road at the moment. Of course, he still needs to get a good result in race 2. That'll help him outscore Leon across the board. So Leon taking a little bit out of Andy there. The gap now down to 3.8 seconds, but I don't quite know that there's time enough for him to mount a significant challenge, but we'll see. But yeah, Andy currently doing everything he needs to claim second place in the championship overall. Let's have a look at Leon, see what he's getting up to. There he is. You can see Andy in the background. He'll be able to. He is catching him. He's 3.5 seconds down. Let's say 41.4. Sorry. So that takes a good chunk out of Andy's lead. I'll be curious to see how quickly Tony and James are able to get through the field in race 2. That's always a good time, so we'll be watching very closely at the start. Of course, lots can go wrong at the start of a reverse grid race. That's kind of why we love them. It's a bit of a roll of the dice, as it were. Keeps everything a little bit tasty. So Leon now down to the gap down to 3 seconds. He's chasing down Andy Archer. I wonder how hard Andy's pushing at the moment. Because I mean, he doesn't need to. What is it that Alan Prost said? Is I want to win as slowly as possible. So he's the kind of guy that he knew all he needed to do to win the championship was finish 5th. So he would do his best to finish 5th and not worry about any more. So I wonder if we're seeing a little bit of that from Mr. Andy Archer, because he's having a very steady drive. Let's have a little look at him. There he is. So he comes around there. Can we see Leon in the background? Not quite. Looks very on it though, doesn't he? Coming around to complete another lap. So, only 1 minute left. 21 laps completed by your leader. That's Mr. Tony Draper there. He seems to have... he's got a little bit out of shape going through Graham Hill Bend there, but manages to hang on to it. That was really solid work from him. He's got a new steering wheel, of course. He's had a quite significant upgrade in his sim, so he must be enjoying that an awful lot. I would guess from here we are about to start the final lap of the race now. So 33 seconds left on the clock. This is definitely the final lap of the race. So looks like, pending any spins or any mistakes or anything from anybody, this looks like it's going to be the finishing order. So we'll stay with our championship leader as he takes this round. Here he comes. Is this the final corner? Yep, here he comes round now. Takes the shallow line. Of course, that's the fast line around here because that is so banked. And here he is. Tony Draper crosses the line to win race 1 of round 12 of the Century Sim Racing DTM series. Gives us a good flash of the lights. Good lad. James Cole coming home in second. Very nice controlled drive from him. Andy Archer comes through to complete his 3rd place. The gap down to just under 2 seconds as well now to Leon Chambers. That's a good drive from him. Where's Max Chambers then? Here he comes. Gets it all out of shape and stacks it on the last lap of the race. He will have crossed the line because he was a lap down, of course. Right then, so Tony Draper finished first. Let's just get these numbers jotted in so that we can keep a tally. Then it was James Cole. He came second. Andy Archer was 3rd. Leon Chambers was 4th. 5th was Max Chambers. 6th was James Stokes, and Stuart Nunnan came 7th. Alright then, so we are looking forward to race 2 now. Reverse grid, of course, that's always tasty. Let's see what these guys have got for us, shall we? So then, welcome back to race 2 of the Century Sim Racing DTM series. As it stands at the moment, that looks like we've got James Stokes is on pole position. Is that right? Yes, followed by Max Chambers. Then it's Leon Chambers in 3rd. Let's see if we can get a better angle of that. Stuart Nunnan, of course, didn't finish the race, so he's starting in last place. Your pole sitter, however, is... have we covered that? Yes, it's James Stokes, isn't it? That's right. So, I'm going to keep an eye on Max Chambers. We're waiting for the lights to come on now. Tony Draper there down in 6th place, all to play for him. This is the good bit. This is race 2. Here we go. The lights are about to come on for the start of race 2 of round 12 of the Century Sim Racing DTM series. My name is James Whitehouse, and watch while I take you through this race. Here we go. Lights are about to go out. And we're away. Looks like a good start for Max Chambers. Immediately takes the lead. Terrible start there for James Stokes. He immediately gets swallowed up. That's Andy Archer looking interested up the inside as well. That looks like Tony and Stu have gone off as well. They're in the gravel. Oh boy, that's not the start that he wanted at the beginning of his campaign, but he was so fast in the first session. We'll see what he's got. So that looks like Andy Archer making a move for the lead. Is he? Oh, that's some contact and he's round. Scatters absolutely everybody. That's absolute scenes at Brands Hatch Indy. That gives Tony Draper up another place. James Cole then looking interested in Leon Chambers as well. Max Chambers currently leading the race as he did from the start. Boy, some contact there between him and Andy Archer. And there's more contact as well. James Cole dances through into 2nd place. Let's see what he's got. That has let Tony straight back into the race. He is now only about 3.5 seconds off the lead because of all the shenanigans from everyone else. So here he comes. I guess the battle that we're looking forward to now is James Cole versus Tony Draper. Draper with all of the pace in the first race. Thinking about our championship second place contenders, Leon Chambers is losing out quite badly there. Andy Archer's had some contact, but his clearly wasn't as bad as Leon's. But yes, we'll stay with this. We'll stay with this battle now as Tony Draper works James Cole over. Let's see how hard JC can defend. Fastest lap of the race for Max Chambers. Fastest lap of the race for Tony Draper, 41.0, straight in with it. James Cole is going to have to go very, very defensive here. Does he? Yeah, he does a little bit, but he lets Tony squeeze his way up the inside. Can he hang on to it around the outside? No, not quite. Tony gets the move done. That was fairly straightforward, I think, from our incumbent series champion. Oh, the champion-elect. Now, only one thing stands between Tony Draper and 2 wins tonight, and that is Max Chambers. He's about 2 seconds up the road. Here we go. Go and get him. It's a shame they all ran into each other. So this could have been very spicy, but yeah. Tony gets taken out at turn 1, and then everyone else just opens the door straight back up for him. Andy Archer coming through with a 41.6. That's a good lap from him. He's down in 4th position as well. He's about 4 seconds off the back of this battle that we're watching at the moment. Tony has got the gap down to about 1.4 seconds. Max Chambers has made a mistake, and that's the lead for Tony. I think he's only actually had to overtake one person properly on his way up to this lead, but not over yet. 12 minutes to go. It can all happen, but if race 1 was anything to go by, this is Tony checking out for the rest of this race, and we'll see him at the end. James Cole holding on to P2 nicely. Max Chambers has got a great opportunity here to get a good haul of points. Andy Archer now is chasing him down. We'll keep an eye on that gap. James Stokes behind him. He's about 8 seconds down, and Leon Chambers is going to be looking pretty interested on him. Let's follow that. James Stokes going very defensive, but Leon having a look around the outside. Can he make this stick? He's got all the road that he needs, and he's got the line for Graham Hill Bend. That's good work from him. We love an overtake around the outside. There's something about an overtake around the outside that always gets you excited. James Stokes not letting him go. It's the fastest lap of the race for Tony Draper with a 40.7. Leon's run a little bit wide there. James has a little bit of a look, but decides better of it. He's got a good drag heading down towards turn 1 now. But Leon going defensive, probably sensible. There's a bit of a lock-up for James Stokes behind him, but he gets the move done. So his next target, 9.3 seconds up the road, is Andy Archer. He badly needs this if he's going to be taking that position. Don't forget as well, there is another race after this one. It's a 20-minute feature race with its own set of points, so there are still plenty of points on offer. Looks like James Stokes getting a little bit out of shape there at the back. I wonder what's happened to Stuart Nunnan. He's sitting in the pits. I might see if he wants to join me on commentary. Right, let me just drop him a little message. Right, let me send him a little message quickly. Right, so we'll keep an eye out to see if he fancies joining us. We'll find out what the story is, because for the second race in a row, he's just sitting in the pit lane. We are watching Tony Draper kind of running away with another race. Let's have a look at James Cole in second place. So Max Chambers is about 6 seconds off him. Andy Archer is the one making moves here. He's making his way out towards Max Chambers. We're going to be watching that gap. So 3.2 seconds the gap now between Andy Archer and Max Chambers. Andy came 3rd in the last race, did he? Yes, I believe he did. So he'll be wanting to complete that. Good points for him on a day like today, especially when Leon's had a bit of a falling off earlier in race 2. So that's a 42.1 for Max Chambers. Let's see what Leon's got. well, Andy's got 41.6. Takes a little bit out of his lead, but not a load. I wonder if Stu is about to join us. He's just left the voice chat, the driver's voice chat. Let's see if he joins the commentary voice chat. I expect he'll announce himself if he gets here anyway. So, the gap's still 3.2 seconds between Andy Archer and Max Chambers. No damage on these cars, of course, so it's not like he's going to be running around with any issues. But in this series, the only issue is the guy behind the wheel. And I'm sure they'll all agree with me on that. So the gap's still standing at 3.2 seconds. Max Chambers now 6.5 seconds off James Cole, who's 3.5 seconds off Tony Draper. They've spread themselves out pretty evenly this week, haven't they? It's not ideal when what you're looking for is some exciting racing, but nonetheless, those of you that are tuned in, thank you for tuning in, even if it's just to hear me talk. And Lord knows I love to hear myself talk. So Max must have made a little mistake there, because the gap now... Oh, he makes a huge mistake, and through goes Andy Archer. Oh, man, that's another little battle that we were looking forward to that's been scuppered by someone making a mistake. That's a shame. But Leon makes up a place as well. Let's have a look at Max to see what's happened there. I want to see what the gap is between him. So it's only a second. Where's Leon? Oh, but he loses it again. He must have cooked his tyres. Oh, that's such a shame for him. He was having a very strong race. But Andy Archer now marches up into third. Leon Chambers up into fourth. He's 6.5 seconds down on Andy. 12 seconds back to Max Chambers. 3 seconds back to James Stokes. I wonder if Max is still having a bit of a nightmare. From the looks of things, his rear tyre's just overcooking a little bit. Such a shame. 6.5 minutes to go. This is race 2 of the Century Sim Racing DTM series. Is Max still struggling on the tyres an awful lot. So there's Leon. He's pulled out a nice gap. Nice and easy. 6.4 seconds the gap now to Andy Archer. We'll keep an eye on that gap. See what they've got. Have a look at the lap times as they come across the line and everything as well. So here's Andy Archer. He's going to be coming across the line shortly. So we'll see what he's got in his arsenal. How good his laps are. So he's heading down towards the line now. This looks like it'll be a... I'd say 42.0. Now, where's Leon? What's he got? So this is a 42.0. So there's really nothing to choose between these two. What we really want is this kind of pace and this kind of consistency from all the drivers, but we want it within a second of each other and not 6.5 seconds down the road. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, ladies and gentlemen. After this race, I'm actually going to get into the drivers group chat and float the idea of maybe doing another track for the feature race, because I don't know that this has been the most stimulating racing we've had all season. What a shame on the finale as well. I was really looking forward to some good battles. We've seen a couple of excellent starts, that's for sure. A couple of dominant drives. I mean, you really can't fault Tony for the way he's gone about his business this afternoon. He's absolutely bossed it. There's James Cole in the background, of course, getting through James Stokes, who's having a big moment behind him. So we're waiting for Andy Archer to come through. There he is in his drawn livery. Very nice. So the gap between him and Leon Chambers is 6.3 seconds. 6.2, 6.3 seconds. Oh, James Stokes has absolutely cooked the tyres, I can tell. I'll drop Stu another message and see if he wants to join us. watching James Stokes. Bringing it up the rear, he's P6. Max Chambers ahead of him. Oh man, he's going to be gutted about this race. But for a couple of incidents, he could have been running P3. We were looking forward to a good battle between him and Andy Archer. Andy and Leon, of course, separated by nothing in terms of lap time, but 6 seconds in reality. So we'll see. Right, I've heard from Stuart Nunnan. It looks like I might be getting him. It'll be nice. Have a bit of a chin wag. I've not spoken to him in a while. I promise that we'll talk about racing, of course. But so I'm joined by Stuart Nunnan. Then, how are you, sir?
I don't have the patience for it.
So then, just tell all the nice people at home. Are we excited for this season, for this series to be finished?
Yeah, don't know. I have enjoyed quite a fair bit of it. Obviously, at the start, I weren't too keen on the car, but
yeah,
got to grips with it. Just that I haven't had enough time to practice, so
yeah, sure. Do
you know what? Like, show.
I'll give you this. Like, I can say with some authority because I've raced it as well. Like, it's not the most straightforward car at all. Like, it's very much taken time for people to be able to extract the max out of it. So I think the next one of these that we do, we'll do it in something that's a bit more forgiving, like some GT3s or that Porsche 911 RSR or something like that.
Yeah, the Porsche's really good, nice car to drive. I know you really like it yourself.
I do really like it.
Yeah, it's quite easy to get to grips with. I think
a
car that'll be easy to get to grips with, and everyone can drive to a great extent. They'll have some really good racing, close racing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is great.
At the end of the day, that's what we want. I've just been saying to the people at home that this race has got all the things that you could possibly want if you want close racing. Lots of people do very similar lap times, but they're doing them 6 seconds apart on the road. So it's been a bit processional, if I'm honest. But I was thinking of what I might do is get into the drivers' chat after this race and suggest that we do the feature race at another circuit. Like pick one from back in the series that everyone's enjoyed, and maybe give that a go.
For the last race?
Yeah, because we're supposed to do another 20-minute race after this one. But I'm not sure anybody at home wants another 20 minutes of what has been pretty processional so far.
Yeah, I certainly can't.
Yeah.
To be honest, before you messaged me to jump on the commentary, I was actually just sat downstairs just thinking about it. Just
thinking about life.
I can't be bothered. It was turned off and I didn't have any plans to come back.
Yeah, sure. Well, we're glad that you did. We're glad that you did. You're certainly making my job a lot easier right now, that's for sure.
Yeah, can imagine.
Yeah. So, are you excited for the British 24-hour then?
Extremely. When I got the message the other day saying it was going on, very happy.
Yeah, same.
It's not just the race; it's the whole experience, the whole week.
Oh yeah,
that you
absolutely.
Make of it. I'd go as far to say that the week that the days leading up to it is actually better than the actual race.
Yeah,
the race is so stressful and it goes by dead fast, but the build up to it, obviously having the barbecues, talking strategy and whatnot.
Yeah, walking around the track at any given, like you're going to get more from the surface by walking around it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm going to interrupt this chat very quickly because we are on the last lap of the race now. Tony has absolutely bossed it once again. He's been absolutely brilliant this season, hasn't he?
He's been great. I'm surprised considering we come into contact at the start of the race.
Yeah, I know. Well, do you know what? Like, it was such a shame that because you two had contact and then everyone else had contact in front of him. I think I can only remember one overtake in this whole race that hasn't happened because other people haven't fallen off in front of them. So here he comes then. Tony Draper crosses the line to win race 2 of the Century Sim Racing DTM Series round 12 at Brands Hatch. We're going to take a short break after this and just see about what we're going to be doing next. The plan, of course, from here is going to be a 20-minute feature race around this circuit, but I might see if the guys fancy doing something else. Cool. I just need to work out a way to make sure that that conversation is not broadcast, because I imagine it could be fairly fruity. If we do that, are you gonna do it, or are you gonna stay on comment
Well, let's see what track it is first. I'll see if I've still got it installed.
All right. Let's see if they want to change. Okay. Cool. I'm just going to sign off on here. Okay then, welcome back everybody. This is the update that I've got for you. We are changing the track. We are going to Autodromo Nazionale di Monza in Italy for the for the sprint race. Everyone agreed with me that that wasn't necessarily the most stimulating racing that they've ever done. So I'll just take a second to get all of this stuff set up. Fob that off. Let's have a 20-minute race. I'm going to need to set up a mandatory pit stop for them. And here we go. Okay, server is up. We will be with you shortly. So we're not going to bother with a practice session either. We're going to go straight into into qualifying, and so that we're not wasting any time. They all know it. They all know this track. They've raced here already this season. As I recall as well, Monza was an absolute doozy. When I think was that my last race of the season? Yes, I think it was. Yeah, I remember being a little bit grumpy that night, if I'm honest. So, just loading that in, and then we will keep a quick eye on the drivers. I've given them a 10-minute qualifying as well because they've done no practice for it. So we'll have 10 minutes of qualifying, and then it's a 20-minute race. They have to do a pit stop as well, where they change the tyres. That hopefully spices everything up. Don't forget as well, when we did race here, Andy Archer got it on pole and managed to win the race from there. So he's feeling pretty confident. Right then, let's have a little look at the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. So, Andy Archer pulling on. Here he is, the winner last time out when we were at Monza. I'm excited for this. I'm glad we changed the track. Here goes nothing. 8.5 minutes to go. Who else have we got? So there's James Stokes going a little bit deep at turn 1. Look, he's having a bit of a moment in the gravel. So who have we got? We're waiting for people to arrive. Is that Leon Chambers? He's still sitting in the pits. We'll keep an eye on Andy Archer because he's out on track. Just waiting for everyone to pile in. This is not the ending to the season that I expected, if I'm honest, but I can't complain. Looks like everyone's heading out on track now as well. There's Leon Chambers on his way out. We'll stay with Andy Archer because he's actually he's about to start a lap. He looks hooked up already, doesn't he? Using all of the track on the outside. Good lad. He, of course, is on Team Century Sim Racing for the 24 Hours of Le Mans next week, which means that I'm talking to him quite a lot. If you've not heard him before, he has the funniest laugh. I really enjoy Andy an awful lot. Alright, let's go and have a look at the live stream, see if anyone's with us. So if you are with us, thank you very much once again. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Drop us a hello in the chat. Let us know who your driver of the day was at Brands Indy as well. We'd love to hear from you. We're going to stick with Andy Archer because he's on a flying lap right now. Looking pretty dialed in already. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go and find the video of when they raced at Monza so that I can see what the lap times were like. So we know what we're comparing to. So, where are we? Watkins Glen, Silverstone, Monza. Here it is. I'm looking for qualifying. Okay, so we're looking for high 43s, low 44s. Oh, there's me! Oh, I forgot that I raced in this series for a minute there. Oh, I'm at 2 minutes and 24 of qualifying left to go at Monza last time we raced here, and I'm currently on pole. I really felt like I should have had pole that night, actually. I was gutted that I didn't get it. I didn't quite get a lap in at the end. Yeah, I fell down to second with a minute to go. There you go. Oh yes, I had my last lap disallowed, didn't I? Of course, so I started third as I recall. Very close, 43.6 Andy did for pole position. We haven't got so he's about to cross the line now. That's a 46.3, so still plenty of time to find. I mean, it was always going to be like this. While they're working out the track again, because of course they've all been practicing really hard for Monza. Right, back to the story at hand. Let's have a look at Tony and see what he's got. Is this him about to start a lap? Yes, coming through Parabolica now. This is an awesome circuit, really it is. So he crosses the line with a 146.2. That's close between him and Andy Archer. Archer has found a load of pace, I must say. And of course, this was a good track for him last time we raced here. So I'd say he's glad to be back. Stu does a 48.2. Leon Chambers, he's coming across the line shortly. Let's see what he's got. I'll tell you what he's got. He's got James Stokes just behind him. Is that James Stokes or was that Max? Oh, Max Chambers is in the polka dots for this race. That'll be worth bearing in mind. Ah, gutted for him in that last race, man. So it looks like he's about to start a lap. Leon's about to start a lap as well. Actually, no, there was a lap. That was a 46.3. Tell you what, it's close between that top three right now, isn't it? Let's stop quali now. Where's James Cole? I wonder if he even knows that we have this race. I'll just drop him a message and make sure. James Cole. So James Cole has left the building. I wonder if he was aware of this. We'll see. I've sent him a message. See what he says. That's very wide for Leon Chambers. That this lap surely will be disallowed. It's very close at the top though at the moment, I must say. But this is Leon doing what he needs to do. He's only just ahead of Andy. It's going to be very tasty heading down towards turn 1 as it stands. So we're now going with Tony Draper. He's on a new lap. He's found some time on that last lap. He's now a second up. Is this going to be another clean sweep weekend for Tony? God, he's been good this season, hasn't he? So Tony finding bags of time. He's found another 8 tenths in the first sector alone there. He's just going to be getting more and more dialed in here, really, isn't he? So 1 minute 40 odd left. There's only time for one more lap in qualifying if you were crossing the line right now. So it looks like, or 2 laps, sorry. So Tony will be able to get one more lap. Who's that ahead of him? Is that Andy Archer? Yeah, it looks like he'll have time for one more as well. Let's see what this is. Of course, he's going to want a good result here. It's very close. There's 3 of them on a 46.3. That's very tasty indeed. Heading down towards turn 1. Who are we missing? We're missing James Stokes as well. Has he not got a lap in yet? He is on track, but he hasn't done a lap yet. So Tony goes a second quicker again. That's a 44.3. What's Archer done? He's done a 45.8. Geez, it really goes to show the value of having done 2 hours worth of practice on a Thursday night, doesn't it? There's Andy running a little bit wide. Leon's just behind him. He's sitting in the pits currently. That's going to be his session run. Max as well, looks like his session is run. Stu's still out there. 47.2 is his fastest. It's mad to think that this is the last time we're going to be seeing all these liveries. I mean, you can still race them if you come into Century Sim Racing and decide to drive this car, but last time that they'll be on the stream. It's been a long 12 weeks, isn't it? Although it feels like it's gone by really quickly. Thank you for joining us. I know that the title says Brand. If you are just joining us, thank you for that. I know the title says Brands Hatch, but we decided for race 3 tonight, for the feature race, we were going to throw them a bit of a curveball, and so we've picked a track that they enjoyed racing from earlier in the season, and the track that we've gone with is Monza. Is Tony running a little bit wide? I wonder if that'll be disallowed. Certainly, when we raced here a few weeks ago, my lap got disallowed for doing that, so I hope his did. I'm very petty like that. So Andy Archer 45.4 there. Tony comes across the line. Now that was not an improvement at all. So it looks like that's going to be it for quali. What's Stu Nunnan got? I think he's the only one that's still on the lap. With a bit of time to find. Is this him coming around parabolic now? Yes, I think it is. Looks like James Stokes hasn't got a lap in. That's a shame for him. So here comes Stu, crosses the line, and stays in 5th place. So, getting ready to go racing shortly. Should just be a couple of minutes, and then we'll get ready to go racing for the final race of the Century Sim Racing DTM series. Of course, the difficulty at this point is I would normally put you onto another graphic, but I don't have another graphic because yeah, this was not the plan for tonight. So as it stands, the gap between Leon Chambers and Andy Archer is 10 points. So Leon needs to outscore Andy by 10 points. Is that right? Yes, so Leon needs to outscore him by 11 points. So that means that Archer needs to win the race and Chambers needs to come fourth. Chambers needs to win the race and Archer needs to come fourth, and then Leon will win it. So here we go. They are on the grid now. Let me just bring up that little controller that I use. Right there. So here we go. Tony Draper is on pole. There he is. Andy Archer is P2. Let's see if I can't get a slightly... That's the camera that we want. Okay then, so... all to play for. In this, the final race of the Century Sim Racing DTM series. It's been 12 weeks. We've had 24 races. This is race number 25. All to play for still. Lots of points. Still places in the championship to be decided. Just waiting for the lights to come up. Here they come. So they're going to start coming on. We can hear horns beeping. We can hear engines revving. For the last time in this, for the last time in this series, 1 light, 2 light, 3, 4 lights, 5, 6 lights. About to go out for the last time this season, and they're off. Good start there from both of the front runners by the looks of things. Let's watch this drag down to turn 1. Looks like Tony's got the line, but Andy's going to be looking interested up the inside, is he? Tony giving him plenty of room on the apex. Leon Chambers tries to sneak through, but he goes over and he barges Andy Archer out of the way. That's absolute shenanigans. What is that going to mean for the championship then? That's completely thrown the cat amongst the pigeons. We'll keep an eye on that then. Out front, so Tony Draper currently leading the race. He's, stolen a march on this lot and off he's trotting. So Leon Chambers currently 2 seconds up. Oh boy, people at home, what do we do about that? Because he's directly caused his championship competitor to drop to the bottom of the field. I think that Archer can still make this up. So at the moment, let's just do the maths on this one quickly. So if Andy finishes 6th, he will score 8 points. And if Leon finishes, where is he currently? 2nd, he will score 18 points. That will still be, they will be tied on points, and that will be enough for Andy Archer to still hang on to 2nd place in the championship. But it doesn't look like that's going to be the conversation that we're going to be having. He's already pulling moves on James Stokes to go up to 5th place. That means that he is now on 10 points for this race, which means that he's now outscoring Leon Chambers on 163 points. So that one's washed itself out pretty neatly, fairly quickly. What Leon needs to do now is take the lead. That's going to be quite crucial for him now. I think that if he takes the lead, he will, in fact, go back up to He will go back up to 2nd place. But that's a big if, because Tony is absolutely clearing off. We're less than 3 minutes into this session, and he's 3 seconds up. Max Chambers having a little look at Stuart Nunn, and we've missed that, but we saw it on the timing, so we'll go with them now to see if Stu can come back at him. Not letting him get away. It's a great track for overtaking, great track for racing. Stu looking interested up the inside, is he? No, he thinks better of that. Catches a bit of a curb on the way through, and Max runs wide, and Stu marches through back up into 3rd place. That's good from him. This from a guy by his own admittance about 10 minutes ago had packed it up for the night and wasn't going to be coming back, but we wrangled him back into the seat. Here he is, currently in a podium position. So let's have a little look at Andy Archer then. He's going to be looking very hungrily at Max Chambers. Yes, they're heading down towards the Ascari chicane now. Archer with all of it left to gain. It seems like he hasn't lost out that badly. If his pace is still good, he can still catch Leon. I think that's what I'm hoping. I'd love to see that battle unfold. Old scores getting settled. for a championship place and all of that. So here he comes. He's tucked right up behind Max Chambers. The gap is half a second. He's going to want to clear this pretty quickly because otherwise Leon's going to be getting away. And he doesn't want to give himself too much to do. Fastest lap of the race for Tony Draper, that's a 1:44.5. 46.6 behind him, 47.3 for Stu Nunn, 47.3. What's that? Is that a 49? I couldn't quite tell. So here he is, under half a second for Andy Archer. Is he going to have a little lunge up the inside? No, he's not. A little bit of a lockup from Max Chambers ahead of him, but this exit's crucial. He doesn't get a good exit. He gets a little bit out on the out in the kitty litter there. That's going to cost him time all the way through Curva Grande. Max Chambers looking interested at Stuart Nunnan now as well. Let's keep a little eye on that battle. It's Leon taking it pretty easy. The gap out front already 5 seconds. This is absolutely ridiculous pace from Tony Draper. I guess the value of being able to practice so much is that it sort of squeezes the field together, as it were. But you can really see the talent of the guy when, with no practice, he's just marching off into the distance. Fascinating stuff all round. So we're watching Max Chambers. He's got Andy Archer for company. The gap now less than half a second. Looks like Archer's taking a much. He's straight lining it much more than Max is, which seems to be yielding him some results. I think that the waking of these cars is quite significant. So following through the fast corners is quite difficult. 14 minutes to go, of course. Don't forget as well, everyone has to do a pit stop. So I wonder if the smart thing for Andy to do now would be to take his pit stop, get out of this traffic, and see what sort of damage he can do. I think if I was his race engineer, I'd be calling him in sooner rather than later, because he does seem to be losing time, although he does pull out to see if he can make a move against Max Chambers into turn 1. He is alongside. Can he make it stick? Yes, it looks like Max is compromised by the driver in front of him. And Archer sneaks through, gets a better exit this time. That was a nice move from Andy Archer there. Now he sets after Stuart Nunnan. The gap up to Leon Chambers from here is about 3 seconds, but he's going to feel, he must be feeling hungry for that. That is a battle that we would like to see develop come the end of the race, but he's got to get through Stuart Nunnan first. Let's see what Andy Archer has got in his tool chest to make that a reality. Okay, we are watching Andy Archer then, taking after Stuart Nunnan. The gap up to Leon Chambers, though, that's a gap that we're very interested in as well. He's going to want to clear Stuart Nunnan as quick as he can, so he can take after Leon Chambers. Don't forget, Andy Archer, a winner here in, I think it was round 7. It was. Yes, he won race 1 from pole. Commanding, dominant drive that night, I must say, from Andy Archer. There's a score to settle for him as well, of course. He got shunted at turn 1, but he's still in the position that he needs to be in order to win, in order to get P2 in the championship as it stands. So everybody being fairly cautious through turn 1. It's all about this exit as you head through Curva Grande, because it's a long drag heading down towards turn 4. The gap is less than a second, keeping Stu Nunnan in check, but he's going to, like I said, he needs to get through him really quickly because he's losing time to Leon Chambers. I'll say it again, I wonder if the smart thing to do here would be to stop, like do his pit stop, get that out of the way, because then he's in clear air, that's out of the way, he can go ahead and do some lap times and see if he can't undercut Stu Nunnan. And indeed Leon Chambers, so then we'll get a clearer idea of what the pace is like. The gap now less than half a second. He's had a good run through the first Lesmo. Seems like he has a good run through the second Lesmo as well. Stu Nunnan running a little bit wide perhaps. an awkward place to try and overtake going into into the Ascari chicane. Is he close enough to get alongside? No, not quite. But he'll want to tuck up behind him as much as he can because he's got a couple of really nice long straights. Of course, getting a good exit. Oh, Stu Nunnan gets massively out of shape going through Ascari. Is that going to put Andy Archer into the frame? Yes, it is. He makes his way past. Oh, gutted for Stu Nunnan, but still going to be wanting to hang on to the position from Max Chambers, which he does by the looks of things. Is he going to go defensive? No. Holds onto the place nonetheless. Right, the gap now. Andy Archer back from Leon Chambers is 3.7 seconds. Leon Chambers does and Andy Archer pits. That's an interesting shout there. Probably could have done with... in fact, that's probably still a smart choice, to be honest, because what he doesn't want to be doing now is getting defensive and doing all of that. He's going to be wanting to just focus on his own race. We're on board with Stuart Nunn, and Max Chambers has gotten past him while we were watching Andy Archer there, heading into the pit lane. So Stu still right up behind Max Chambers. He's not going to want to give this up without a fight, so let's see what he's got. Quite close enough for a move, but still nice and close. Getting a good exit. The corner exit is so important at this track. See now, is he lining him up for a move going through the Lesmos? This is the arguably the slowest part. I mean, there's no slow part of this lap. Monza being the temple of speed, of course. But he'll be wanting to get a good exit from here. Uses all of the road on the outside. That's really nice. Does get a good exit. Looks like he's got a toe heading down towards the Ascari chicane. He's going to make it. He's going to be making Max Chambers' life a little bit awkward here. Chambers goes defensive. Stu looking like he's going to want to go around the outside. Do they touch? No, but Stu Nunnan makes his way through. That's really nice racing from the young man. Well done. Very, very nice. So we're seeing good battles from these two drivers. Both matching each other for pace. Max Chambers isn't letting him go. He's going to be in the slipstream now. Does he have a little look into Parabolic? It looks like he might be. Stu going defensive. He runs it out a little bit wide. Max Chambers is just ahead, but Stu again is going to be in the in the tow. So let's see what he's got here. They both pit. That's interesting. Okay, well, we'll keep an eye on that in that case. See what the gap looks like once they come out. But I'm kind of glad that they've done that, if I'm honest, because it means that we get to keep watching that battle. So Leon, Stu, and Max Chambers all in the pits now. We're on board with Andy Archer. So let's see where this brings him out. I haven't been keeping too close an eye on his pace, if I'm honest. But we should see. Where's Leon Chambers then? So he's already down towards turn 1. Here comes Archer. Looks like he's not had the strongest outlaps by the looks of things, because we were expecting maybe that he would come out a little bit ahead of this battle, maybe, or at least slightly closer to Leon. But he's behind Max and Stu again. Oh, that's a shame for him. That is a shame for him. So I guess he'll still get the place back from James Stokes. However, Tony Draper still needs to box as well. Let's have a little look at him. Where is he right now? He's going through the Ascari chicane. God, he looks so hooked up, doesn't he? We'll stick with him now and see if it's likely that he'll be pitting. That pit stop seems to have spread everyone out just to squeeze as well. Max Chambers still on the back of Stuart Nunnan, of course. That's a battle that we're going to enjoy for the rest of the race. 7.5 minutes left. God, that's gone quickly, hasn't it? We should have just done this all night. As Tony Draper boxes then. So James Stokes then, if he chooses not to pit on this lap, could very well end up being the race leader. We'll keep an eye on that. He's got Leon Chambers for company. Of course, with a pit stop in hand, we can see the trailing cars of Stuart Nunnan, Max Chambers and Andy Archer coming up behind him. What does James Stokes do now? So Tony, in fact, Tony's had the margin, so he comes out ahead of James Stokes, who pits. So there's Leon Chambers, comes through, reclaims second place. Stuart Nunnan reclaims third. Max Chambers reclaims fourth. And Andy Archer then, that looks like a decent lap from him. What is the gap there? I'm curious as to how we managed to fall so far back. So let's have a look at Max Chambers. He and Stuart Nunnan have resumed the battle that we were enjoying before the pit stops. Andy Archer 3.8 seconds down on them. Stuart Nunnan winning this particular battle at the moment. He'll be very pleased to be in third place, but it's not over yet. Still 6 minutes of racing to go. Tony Draper up front. He's our champion-elect. I mean, it's a foregone conclusion now. He's done it. You will be seeing a graphic at the end of this race to show that. Leon Chambers, he'll be pretty pleased with this drive. Not quite enough to claim second place in the championship as it stands, but so close, but not quite making it. I will give you a rundown of the points come the end of the race. For a second then I thought they were going into the pits, but obviously not. Max Chambers choosing not to stay in the tow there. That's interesting. Probably just trying to look large in Stu's mirrors. 6 tenths the gap, 5.5 tenths the gap. Andy Archer's making slow headway into this gap. It would be great if he could catch up and have a little nosy at them as well. 3.3 seconds the gap back to Andy Archer. Clearly Stu and Max bringing the best out of each other right now. The stakes are raised for both of them. Lots and lots of points are on offer, of course. Yeah, all exciting, all's fair in love and war. Let's have a little look at. We've not really had talked much about Leon in this race, but he's keeping it fairly steady. He's 6.1 seconds up on Stuart Nunnan. It's about 10 seconds down on Tony Draper. All he needs to do from here is keep it clean, and yeah, there shouldn't be any issues at all. Looks like he's using all of the road there. I wonder if that's my internet being a bit funny. I suspect that it is, but he looks very under control, doesn't he? Let's go and let's keep an eye on this battle, because Max is now looking very seriously at the back of Stuart Nunnan. Looking like he might be interested in a place. The gap now less than 3 tenths. I'd say that this is striking distance now. Pulls out to have a look up the inside at Parabolica. Does Stu got to... No, he's alongside already. He's already made the place up. Fastest lap of the race for Tony Draper, a 1:43.4. But Stu here is just going to tuck back in behind him and see if he can't get the place back. In fact, he's up the inside already. So they're going to be marching down towards turn 1 now. Side by side, Stu tucks in for a little tow, but has to get out of that so as to not rear-end the driver in front of him. The gap less than 3 tenths. Is Stu going to have a little look up the inside? Does Max go defensive? No. Stu looking interested on the brakes. He gets alongside. Max gives him plenty of room at the apex, but it's not over yet. Stu having a look around the outside. Brilliant work from both of them. Fair but hard racing, and Stu Nunnan takes the place back. This has been a fantastic battle. It was so worth changing the track just for these two. Podium position, of course, up for grabs. Loads and loads of points, which will make a big difference for both of these drivers in the championship. Max coming back, heading down in towards turn 4. Does Stu hang around the outside? He does. Max blocks up a little bit, but he manages to hang on to it, and Stu closes the door. Oh, that's brilliant racing from both of them. Hard but fair. As Max is close enough to have a little look back up into the first Lesmo, but he doesn't. Using all the road on the outside. This is, of course, letting Andy Archer back into the game. He's less than 2 seconds behind now. That's what we wanted to see. So they're heading down towards Ascari now. Max still very much within striking distance. He's looking up the inside. This is such an awkward place to try and make an overtake. Stu decides not to go defensive, but we'll see what Max has got at the inside. Can he make it stick? It looks like he can. Oh, he's cut the corner plenty there, but Stu manages to hang on to it. Oh, he gets all out of shape. Oh, no. Andy Archer finds a place. That is heartbreak for Stuart Nunnan. Boy, this was a great battle up until that moment. Absolutely stunning. That was some of the action of the season for me. Just the number of times that they changed positions. Those two both my driver of the day for me. That was excellent. I think I'm going to want to get them both on the chat at the end of the race. Pits are closed. You can see it says there, but of course everyone's done their pit stop, so that's all good. We are into the final 2 minutes of the race. Andy Archer now looking very interested at Max Chambers. He's a second down. I wonder if he can mount an attack. I would guess, where is Tony? So he's heading down towards turn 4 now. I would guess that we'll get one more lap here, so we'll keep an eye on... Yep, Max Chambers has lost it coming out of turn 2. Absolute heartbreak. Andy Archer jumps back up into third. And I think that's second place in the championship tied up fairly neatly. So yeah, well done everybody. So Leon Chambers is currently in second. Andy Archer is currently in third. The points as it stands, that gives Andy a 7-point lead in the championship. Pete Harrod, of course, not racing tonight. Tom Illingworth not racing tonight. James Cole hasn't made it for this race. So Stuart Nunnan then is down in fifth. Max Chambers in fourth. I'd say that their races are both run. That's such a shame because that action between the two of them was absolutely brilliant. So Max Chambers is currently in fourth. It's worth 12 points. Stuart Nunnan is in fifth. That is worth 10 points. And James Stokes is in sixth, and that is worth 8 points. Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. Boy, we've seen some racing tonight, haven't we? Certainly in race 3. So here we are. Where is Tony? Are we going to get it? Yep, this is the final lap of the race. Here he is taking his final tour of the Century Sim Racing DTM series. We're going to keep an eye on this battle. I think that not this battle. We're going to keep an eye on your champion-elect as he takes us around for the final time this season. What a season it's been from him. It's been a whole series of absolutely brilliant drives from him, loads of moves pulled, coming back from first corner incidents, Oculus freezes, computer freezes, still manages to win the championship around early. I think that it's been an absolutely world-class performance from him all season, and you run out of superlatives at some point, you know. I've loved racing against him. I've loved commentating on him even more. It's been less frustrating. But yes, we'll definitely have to get him on the comms afterwards and see what he can tell us. So let me just drop him a little message. Comms lad! Exclamation mark. I'm gonna get Stu and Max as well. Where's Max Chambers? I want to do this quickly because I want to commentate properly on the final win of the season. Right, so here he comes, round the final corner for the final time this season. Tony Draper wins the final round at, we weren't expected to say it, Monza, in the Century Sim Racing DTM series. An absolutely brilliant drive from him. Couldn't have asked for more all season long. He's been absolutely brilliant. I ran out of superlatives half a lap ago, but this has been a brilliant performance from him. We're going to get him on commentary, see what he has to say for himself. Yeah, well done, Tony Draper. Let's have a look at Leon Chambers as he comes home. There he is. Where's Andy Archer? Crosses the line in third. Max Chambers crosses the line in fourth. There he is. Stu Nunnan in fifth. Shame we didn't get to see the rest of that battle play out for the rest of the race because it was some awesome action. Yeah, we loved that. We absolutely loved that. Whew. Right, what a battle. What a whole bunch of things. So, yes, I promised I was going to throw up this thing. Here he is, Tony Draper, your champion. I would say season 1, but I think for the next season of whatever we do in Assetto Corsa, it's going to be, we'll pick maybe some GT3 cars or something like that that are a little bit more forgiving to drive. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed commentating on it. I'm going to see if I can get some of these guys in for commentary now. We definitely want to talk to our champion. Absolutely made up for him. Is he still on track? Need that. Yes, there he is, doing some donuts in the background. What a handsome guy as well. Absolutely brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So what we need now is for everyone to get out the cars so that they can come and have a chat. Just make sure I'm in the thing. Yes, I am. And then we're waiting. Stuart Nunnan, you are with us. How was that?
That was much better than the last track.
Dude, do you know what? That battle that you had with Max was absolutely brilliant. Max joins us as well. Max, that was absolutely fantastic. I was saying to Stu, like, the number of times that you two swapped positions was absolutely brilliant.
Oh, yeah, that was great.
Yeah, you'll be pleased to know as well that it's all on the stream as well. Like, because I was commentating on the whole lot.
when it happened, I did actually ask that. Well, I said I hoped at least that was on the stream at the very least.
Yeah. No, it definitely was. I promise you, it was absolutely. I think I called it at the time as some of the best action that we've had all season. It was brilliant. Like the number of times per lap that you guys were swapping position was absolutely brilliant. So well done, guys.
So, thank you.
Yeah, brilliant. We are also joined by official champion Tony Draper. How was that for you, champ?
Hi, yeah, it was alright. That was good fun. I enjoyed that. I tell you what, Brands Indy is relentless.
Yeah, man.
In these cars, it's non-stop. But yeah, it was really good fun, and it was nice to get back to Monza and have something a little bit different.
Yeah,
there was a little bit of argy-bargy turn 1, turn 2. But,
yeah, there was.
Yeah, it's good fun.
Was. No, absolutely. Yeah. It was. I really enjoyed that race, actually. Lots and lots of good racing. I mean, not so much from you, because you absolutely just marched off and sort of cashed the checks as you came through and collected 200 quid every time you came past home. But
I wish that was true.
I know, right? I know, right? But,
it was great fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I suppose this is the right moment as well to congratulate you on what has been an absolutely brilliant season. I was saying on commentary that I tried to say some stuff about you as you crossed the line, but I ran out of superlatives half a lap ago. I don't think that I can't heap any more praise on what's been an absolutely brilliant season.
Well, thank you, mate. That's very, very kind of you. And I have to say, right back at you for setting it up, because this has been an absolutely brilliant thing the last 12 weeks. Doing this and then the F2 season as well. It's just been brilliant all the way through. Great bunch of guys. Clear rules, really well set up, runs really well. Streams are awesome. What more can you say? It's fantastic.
Yeah, man. So you're joining us for the F3 Championship starting in a couple of weeks, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Yes, hopefully. I need to start practicing for that.
Yeah, yeah. Have you driven that car much? The F3?
I think maybe once.
Okay,
and it didn't go all that well. So
it's awesome.
I've got some work to do.
Yeah. You'll love it. Don't worry. It's a great little car.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited for the challenges that iRacing will bring with it as well.
Yes,
bit more consistency in the tracks and all that kind of stuff. Like if we think back to Suzuka and how dodgy that was in the F2 series, none of that.
Yeah, that was terrifying. That.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us. I'm going to wrap this thing up now and get myself a scotch or something. I think it's been a long 12 weeks.
Good shout, my friend.
Brilliant. Thank you for joining us, champ.
Thank you, mate. I'll catch you later.
Catch you later.
Bye-bye.
Right then, ladies and gentlemen. So that brings to a close the first season of the Century Sim Racing Esports Series. We've been rating DTM this season. We start the F3 Championship in a few weeks' time. Join us next week where myself, Tony Draper, Ollie Evans and Andy Archer will be taking on the 24 Hours of Le Mans over on iRacing. That'll be streamed right here on the YouTube. If you haven't already, like and subscribe. Hit the little bell notification. We will that lets you know when we are going live. In the meantime, my name is James Whitehouse. This is the Century Sim Racing DTM series. Good night. Wait, I've got to press the thing, haven't I?